Alright, all you music makers, video game players, entertainers, streetlight crusaders, listeners of the madness, game show contestants, and I guess a couple of you telemarketers that's been bothering me for this show for well over an entire year. Welcome to another very special anniversary edition of A Work in Progress. I am your year celebrating host from the East Coast, DJ Smokey, and yes, we thought it was going to be 2 weeks away, but it looks like it happened on a random Sunday night. And yeah, we didn't expect this, folks, but then again, this show is expecting the unexpected, and the fact that we've been doing this show for a year, a whole year, as of December 12th of 2018 is when we initially started this show. And I think we picked that date because it had something to do with the Mayan apocalypse being wrong for well over 6 years. But, nah, we're not gonna anger the Mayans on this one. So we're just gonna, rehash that comment, just, kibosh it. And Maestro's waving his hands right now telling me to rescind it, and I did, alright? No, we don't want the wrath of the Mayans on our heads. So yeah, besides that comment, folks, I am shocked and amazed that we've been doing this for well over a year, and I would once again like to thank the person who gave this show life in the first place, none other than Mike and Isabella Russell of musiccreative.com, who actually gave me the opportunity to do this show, a part of a site that I keep forgetting the name of, but yes, that's where we first started, and we've grown to the point that we've started doing it on our own computer, giving it to you on not only SoundCloud, now on YouTube, and in the future, who knows where else. But I feel real bad about the whole website thing, so we will put it in the comment section below telling you where this show oriented, and we're so happy that we're able to do this show for over a year, and not to mention, thank goodness that we were able to do the show tonight, because in another 2 weeks, we'll be celebrating the 5-year anniversary of Under the Radar. And after that, everything goes downhill on the roller coaster of celebrations, and we won't be able to actually have a moment to stop and truly smell the roses until February. Yes, that's right, folks. February. No, wait, not even February. According to the Maestro, he's holding up a makeshift calendar telling me not until the first week of May we'll be able to smell the roses. Because along the way from now until then, not only we have the 1 year, the 5-year anniversary of Under the Radar, then you have the 4-year anniversary of the Indy Radio Arcade, then the 6th-year anniversary of Music Village, followed up by the Indy Awards, the 300th episode of Music Village, and also the Tuesday Night Special, turning 6 years old. Yeah, that's right, folks. All my kids are now grown up, walking around, talking, saying mama and dada at this point, and I couldn't be more prouder. So yeah, it's been a wild ride, and I can't believe we've been doing shows once again on a microphone for well over 6 years as of the new decade that's about to approach fastly as we're speaking. And yeah, for those who are wondering out there, we had a couple of surprises that we accidentally spilled the beans on for Music Village, but we might as well say it again for those who watch this show instead of Music Village, and that is, we were able to get a new microphone along with a new program called Mixcraft 9 that we were able to use for the 290th episode of Music Village as a bit of a test run. But I do believe Mixcraft 9 we've been using since, Under the Radar this past week? Yeah. And I'm enjoying it. I'm really enjoying it, and the fact that The fact that they were able to include an actual condenser that you can use and turn on at will in the volume controls now is a very good convenience. And not to mention, easier for me to search for files, a lot better for me to record things, and alongside with that, even a chance for me to do new music backgrounds for you fans out there for all the shows, most likely somewhere near Christmas. Now, I would have done it on Christmas itself, but I got a feeling with all the jingle bells on the roof from Santa Claus, or whatever the world that's going to be happening on Christmas, not really going to have the chance that I want to do it on that said day. And besides that, folks, we've noticed a couple of the files that we've uploaded with a couple of sound problems. We've been re-uploading like a madman this past weekend, and most likely, for those who are wondering out there on YouTube land, we will be uploading episode 287, I do believe. Yeah, 287, most likely this upcoming Thursday, since we're going to be doing a whole bunch of shows and trying to upload them at the same time. And by the way, speaking of uploading, the one thing I do have a little bit of an issue about for Mixcraft 9 is the fact that I can't really upload my projects to YouTube without using Mixcraft 8. I mean, it's a little bit of a workaround, but either way, hopefully in the near future they add that feature so we can upload the projects a little bit quicker to you, the fans out there who are listening out in YouTube land. And as a matter of fact, I think that's what we're going to call YouTube now, because it seems like some form of amusement park to us. I don't know why. And right now, in my head, I'm thinking of a giant oversized play button with a roller coaster and all that stuff like a amusement park would have. So before I design something in, one of the coaster games, yeah, we're just gonna move on. And besides that, folks, one thing that I regret that we haven't done this past week for Under the Radar is the joke we had about one of the pilots who were able to fly who called themselves Ace. We forgot to make the Motorhead joke of the Ace of Planes like the Ace of Spades. And according to the maestro, by the end of this month, it would be once again the anniversary of the death of probably one of the greatest guitar players and vocalists of all time in the form of Lemmy Kilminster. And still one of my favorite groups to this day is Motorhead. So definitely, Lemmy, your memory lives on. And as a matter of fact, if it hadn't been for you, the Indy Radio Arcade would not be born. He's one of the many reasons why in the world that show exists, and technically, it's the reason why this show exists here. Because for those who don't know, this show, A Work in Progress, was supposed to be the original name for the Indie Radio Arcade when we were spitballing ideas on a cold October night. And I'm finding it funny, and Maestro's laughing as well, the fact that we were able to create this show or think of ideas of that show somewhere around the times when we were thinking of horror stories for Tales from the Disc. Tells you our mind tends to wander toward other projects while we're still doing it. So, the fact that this show exists to actually tell you guys the behind the scene news stuff, definitely worth it. And we appreciate you guys for watching this whole time for the past year and well over 23 episodes that we've been doing. And I know I'm going to say it again by the end of the show, but seriously, guys, thank you very much. And besides that, folks, to move on, in our first news story and in sad news for you Battleborn players out there, it's been announced that the servers are going to shut down in 2021 as of January. And yeah, unfortunately, the actual updates for this game has stopped as of 2017. Which makes things real bad, and also, this game was the game that was trying to compete alongside with Overwatch, but with the whole community just clamoring over Overwatch, this game was left in the dust. And in reality, in my honest opinion, I thought they were going to shut down the servers a lot sooner than this. But to give it a chance until 2021, I give 2K just a little bit of credit on that one. But unfortunately, folks, for those Battleborn players out there, yeah, after February of 2021, and Maestro said all of the prestige coins is usually going to stop on January of 2021, but all the rest of the services for the game is going to continue on. But after February, the game will no longer be playable for you fans out there. So that's pretty much the end of the road. And I know a couple of people out there who still play Battleborn and come up with little miniature events for the game, and I really do feel bad for them that after this upcoming next year that's gonna come upon us, that game's no longer gonna be around. But hey, to all those Battleborn players out there, enjoy the time while you have it, the memories you share with your friends, and hopefully you still keep in contact with those friends you made while playing that game. Cause I know something about playing a game with a couple of friends in a server that's about to shut down, and two of those games was Tekken Revolution, and I do believe Tales of the Rays. And I'm still in contact with a couple of the people, including the king that did that cool ankle lock submission hold out of midair when I was trying to Tiger knee him in the sky with Lily. Yeah, I do appreciate that match still, and you know who I'm talking about out there. Unfortunately, I don't have your username down, but thank you for that match, and I still appreciate it to this day. And hold on. Didn't the server shut down for that about 3-4 years ago? Yikes. Man, how time flies. And besides server shutdown news, in other news, folks, for you Sin Cara fans out there, and yes, the second Sin Cara, as of this week, it's been announced that he's officially gotten his release from WWE. And for those who don't know who the second Sin Cara was, it was back during, I do believe, Hell in a Cell, somewhere around that pay-per-view, where the original Sin Cara, who was known as Mystico, was going up against the second Sin Cara, when on a random episode of SmackDown, they decide to have a mask versus mask match, and the Sin Cara who got unmasked, which is the second Sin Cara, known as Sin Cara Negro, would end up being, Hunico? Yeah, I do believe Hunico, who would go around on a lowrider bicycle along with Camacho, which for those who don't know is Tonga Loa, a part of the Bullet Club. I could be wrong with that name, but yeah, that was Camacho back in WWE. He left, went to New Japan, and became huge, and I think the same thing may happen with Hunico. Neither that or he goes to AAA wrestling and wrestles out there in Lucha Libre. But as long as he stays away from Killer Cross, he'll live longer. Yeah, just a tip. And we wish him luck in his future endeavors. No, I'm not doing the whole John Laurinaitis thing, Maestro. I'm just serious about him doing well in his career in the near future and whatever comes next for him in the world of wrestling or Lucha Libre if he decides to go that path. Right. So with those news stories out of the way, folks, we go into Phantasy Star Online Blue Burst News. And I find it funny, when we started this show 1 year ago, we were doing news about a Dark Flow sword hunt and a whole bunch of other cool and crazy things. But this year, folks, speaking of anniversaries, it looks like Phantasy Star Online Blue Burst under the Ultima server is celebrating their 11th birthday as of this earlier in the month. We were supposed to report on this so long ago, but we got confused of what the next event for this game was going to be and thought it was going to be the Christmas event because everybody's been saying we wish you a Merry Christmas since October. And yes, Maestro, I know we've used that joke and the well's gone dry, but seriously, the way people been as of late setting up Christmas tree lights the first week in November, our mind is all over the place and we didn't know what in the world was going on. So for those out there, and I do believe the event is supposed to end as of next week, heading into the Christmas event, you still have time to get these following weapons from that said event. You can get not only the Asterian Striker, which is probably one of the best handguns in the game with a health special, the Sonic Team Armor, which is one of the best armors in the game, the Ultima Engine, which is a rare mag form that you can transform your mag once it hits level 50. Also, besides that, you also have the D-Photon Core, which turns your mag into a Gelgi, which is the actual final boss mags that you would see for Ogla Flow, in a tiny form that surrounds you at all times, which is kind of creepy, but cool at the same time, folks. And another weapon you can get besides the Sonic magazine and the Hand of Justice, and the Hand of Justice, folks, is a modified form of the, I do believe, yes, Minkoff 2000H, which is an old school handgun, but this version is souped up with a demon special. Nice! Another cool weapon you can get is the Typhring, and that is a sword that is usable by all classes, which is another cool thing. Then you can get the Sword of Ultima, which can transform into the 10 Years Blade, which is a double katana blade with a cool logo on the side of it. Even the Ultima's Bringer, alongside with it the Frozen Booster, Arrest Booster, and I do believe the other booster that's included with it that you can actually turn and make a Frozen Faust and an Arrest Faust, which is the polar opposites, no pun intended, of the Iron Faust weapon, which is the weapon that turns people insane. No, I don't know the actual effect name for it. I think it's Confuse, which causes the enemies to attack each other. But either way, with these two other ones, you can freeze them, or you can actually cause them to be paralyzed and get a couple of good attacks in for that. And the last but not least thing you can get from this event, folks, which is probably one of my most favorite things, is the Mr. Naka's business cards. And for those who are wondering what is that, those are the cards you can actually get in exchange for any S-rank weapon in the game, as long as you can get the weapon itself, deliver it to the person or a GM online, and actually get the weapon with a special on it. But for those who wants to go the extra mile for this weapon, I recommend you go out, get a Christmas present, and I keep forgetting which mission it's on. Grab a Christmas present, put it in the weapon box, and you can actually have your weapon named personally for you. That's how I was able to get a weapon last year called the ICU, which was a Zalier sword, which is still useful to me to this day. And I think this year, what I'm going to probably end up doing, if I end up getting the Naka cards before next week, I'm going to try to make a weapon called the Red Cross. Now, I can only call it the Red Cross because you can only have 8 characters in there to fit for the name, but I'm definitely going to try to make a sniper rifle that has a Zalier feature to it called the Red Cross, so I can shoot enemies from a distance, weaken them, and then just take them out with the rest of the shots. I got a feeling it's going to be a real useful weapon, and another repertoire to one of the doctors or nurses that I have on hand with all the weapons that I have. Now, hopefully I can pull it off in a week. And I got a feeling after a work in progress is over, we're going to go back on the hunt to try to get those Naka cards, and definitely the Sonic Team armor, because it's one of the best armors in the game. And I think they said after you get this armor, and once you get a high enough level to use it, with certain weaponry, you can actually solo a whole bunch of different quests that you had to do with other people. including Towards the Future, and I think Respective Tomorrow or Returning Tomorrow. I keep forgetting the name of the other one, but it's the episode 1 equivalent of a boss rush, for those who never done it. And with all that said, folks, if you out there want to go ahead and check out any of these cool weapons for yourselves, and I recommend you do, you can head on over to the website only known as FantasyStarOnline.net under the forum section for Ultima to check out all the cool weapons you can get while supplies last. Or at least until next week when they start doing the whole Christmas event. Hopefully I have enough time to get what I want to get, but we'll, trace back on that later, because the next thing we have up for you folks, well, originally we were going to mention the high scores, but we're going to hold that off for just a minute, because now we're happy to announce to you for the Indy Awards that's coming as of February 16th of 2020. And according to the maestro, it's actually February 15th. What? February 15th? So you're telling me the day right after the 300th episode of Music Village, we gotta hop on the bus and go right toward the Indy Awards? Ooh, that's not gonna be good. But either way, folks, we can handle it. And the first nominee we want to talk to you guys about, or the first award that we have up for this year, is the most interesting person of 2019. And this award goes to somebody who's made a huge impact to say that they're so cool and so, Fozzie or more or less Joe Cool or cooler than the other side of the pillow, that they were worth mentioning, just like the most interesting man in the world. And the nominees are as follows. Not only the Domino King, who picked up a nomination for the 3rd year in a row, congratulations Domino King, alongside with him new nominee of Garasul 00, and you even also have OHP, as of last year, an official nominee, alongside with them, and I got a feeling they are going to step it up as of this year, Postmodern Jukebox. Even though we haven't reported on them on any of the shows as of late, trust me folks, they're probably going to be the ones to snag the award this year, unless the other nominee would have something to say about it, along the lines of one Killer Cross. And last year, he won it under controversial means, according to what Dan the Weatherman Stu said. But in my opinion, after the year and the terror of wrestlers he dive-bombed on their heads, he's well-deserved that award last year and could possibly earn that award again this year. And another person on the list, besides the entire group of New Legacy Inc., since there was too many to name, alongside with him, you also have the FGN crew and, 2 other nominees that I can't remember. And I actually written that in the book. And we will hopefully have, before the end of the year, heading into January, folks, some way for you to vote for all of those nominees for the most interesting person of 2016, along with the other awards that will be taking place at the Indy Awards as of February 15th of 2020. Which I got a feeling I'm going to most likely be so worn out that Under the Radar is going to probably take place on a Wednesday of that February that's coming up. And, Maestro said, tell him the nominees or the awards that's going to be presented for this year's Indy Awards. And, alright. Well, besides the most interesting person of 2016, you also have the match of the year, which will include matches outside of WWE for this year, just as a heads up. You have the story of the year, screenshot of the year, stunt of the year, creator of the year, track of the year, death match of the year, the Golden Cast Award makes a return. And then besides that, you also have, I do believe the most interesting person of 2019, like we mentioned, and I have to say it in order so I remember it, folks. And the last but not least, and probably one of the most important awards that we have on the show, which is the Music Village Difference Maker Award. And that award, I got a feeling, is going to probably be changed to the New Legacy Inc. Difference Maker Award due to the fact that they won the award every single year. They won it every single year on record that I can remember, and I got a feeling they're going to probably win it this year. So we may change the award to their name in their honor for all of the cool humanitarian things they've done over the years for the Cancer Society and even for people who's been clinically depressed over the years. These guys have been true heroes with wrestling and silly shenanigans that have been proven good to watch when you're having a bad day. So yeah, I got a feeling we're gonna probably change that award name most likely by January. I could be wrong with that date, but we'll keep you posted just in case we decide to change anything around, which means our Twitter page is going to be real active over the next couple of weeks with award nominees and awards in general. So make sure you go out there, vote for your favorites, and hopefully they'll win. I don't know why I'm holding my thumb up right now, but yeah, vote. Go vote. It's good practice before the presidential election that will take place approximately 9 months or 8 months after the Indy Awards. So go out there and vote. And I guess with that voting PSA out of the way, folks, also, besides all of that, we almost forgot to mention to you fans out there that thanks to my brother and a little bit of ingenuity, we may be doing something special after the Tuesday night special for the New Year's Eve edition of the show. We may be streaming some games online on our Twitch page of the Instant Hero. Now, granted, we've been watching so many streamers, but one streamer that goes by the name of Banlish, and by the way, that's one of the people who's up for the most interesting person of 2019 award for the Indy Awards, due to the fact that this man has been streaming for 4 years straight every day with no pause. And that's definitely a merit to actually win an award for. So he said, hey, if you like, playing games, you should give streaming a try one day. So, what better time than New Year's Eve when I'm going to be playing games all night after we watch the fireworks and after we're done with the Tuesday night special, and most likely we'll be playing alongside with my friend Juju, I guess the console version of 7 Days to Die. Now, I know there's a lot of things online of people saying, oh, well, the game's all the way back in Alpha 15 for the console version, and nobody shows any interest in it. But hey, it's a chance for me to show my creativity, show you my giant oversized base and the zombies that we're most likely going to be fighting in it against. And even tried to show you guys me teaching Juju how to fight against zombies. Yeah. And hopefully by the time we stream the game, he can have that cool Mad Max armor that I've been trying to get for him secretly for the longest amount of time. And I think one of the things includes a cool gas mask too, but I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to find it before the big Horde night that we're going to be able to fight most likely on that New Year's Eve, which would be Horde night number, 49 by the time we reach New Year's Eve? Maybe a little bit further down the line, but yeah, definitely Horde night 49 by the time we actually stream that game. So for anybody out there who wants to watch us try to kill zombies in the dead of night after the New Year ball drops, and while everything goes all Twilight Zone, and by the way, the Twilight Zone Marathon is going to come on this year, you can go ahead and head on over to our Twitch page known as the Instant Hero, all one word, to check that out most likely after the ball drops here on the East Coast but not yet for the Midwest, and I do believe not yet for the West Coast itself. Yeah, they're the latest in the country to celebrate New Year's, if I last remembered. I could be wrong. And besides all of that, folks, Maestro said he's finally pulled up the high scores for this week. So without further ado, I think it's time for us to read a couple of your high scores at home for another edition of A Random High Score. We had a better name in our heads, but we forgot it because we didn't do the show in so long. So, first high score that we have up comes from Awesome Ogre with his high score of 20,819,100, a part of the game of Dragon Fury for the Genesis on the Mega Drive. Now, we got a little bit confused there for a second, folks, due to the fact that the numbers were so far spread apart, and we thought it was actually 20 billion, but it was only 20 million. Right. Anyway, next high score, speaking of billion-dollar high scores, Omar Geddon with his high score of 30,400 in the video game Batman, a part of the Genesis. And the reason why we say billion-dollar high score is because he still holds the record for well over a 75 billion high score in a pinball game. Which, congratulations, by the way. And to move on with the high scores, folks, once again, Armageddon with his high score, or Armageddon, Omargeddon, to put some respect on his name, with his high score of 108,700, a part of the Genesis Mega Drive game of Airbuster. Man, I'm telling you, every single one of these games we come across automatically reminds us of one of those cool movies that should have been released by Sci-Fi. Yeah, Airbuster. Rated R. You know what? Wait 1 second, folks. Hey, come here. You guy. Hey, yeah, read this title as a movie. Quick, come on. That one right there. Read that.
Airbuster. Rated R. Coming soon to a theater near you.
Yeah, thanks. See you Saturday. Yeah, that's the guy we usually have for the intro for the Indy Radio Arcade, but the next high score we have up, once again, comes from Omar Geddon with his high score of 6,289,460, a part of the Mega Drive game of Outrun. Now, this I remember playing over my Uncle Denny's house, but never truly beat it. And not to mention, when I was close to beating it, I had to go back to New Jersey, so, them's the breaks. Maybe he still has it, maybe I can get a chance to beat it one day, but not anytime soon. And the next high score that we have up, which comes from Ed1475, long time no see, with his high score of 3,979 for the Intellivision game of Dreadnought Factor Level 5. And that sounds like a show that should be on Sci-Fi too, so we're just gonna move on before we get any more crazy show ideas that we're gonna probably mention for the Indie Awards, because the next high score we have up comes from Retro Rob with his high score of 360,820, a part of the PS4 pinballing game of Pinball Arcade under the Black Knight level. And the fact that he was able to make his own custom business card of an old school joystick that says Retro Rob in 8-bit, congratulations. And the last but not least high score that we have up for this week, folks, comes from the gamer known as Dog New with his said high score of 77,240, a part of the Intellivision game of Lock and Chase Skill 2. And if you guys want to check out any other cool high scores that are still trying to make their way through the Twitterverse as we speak, you can head on over to the Twitter page of one man only known as at High Score, or head on over to their website known as highscore.com to win cool prizes for your high scores. And like we say all the time on no matter what show we decide to do during the week or the weekend, is a fair trade. And the high score thus far for this month to kick things off comes from none other than Awesome Ogre with his high score of 20,819,100 in the video game of Dragon's Fury for the Genesis Mega Drive. Man, what a way to kick things off with a $20 million high score. I like it. I really do. And with that high score firmly read out of the way, folks, I think it's time for us to go ahead and look at some pretty beautiful, lavish homes. And wait one second. Apparently, according to the maestro, we forgot to mention about Garasul 00. He is currently doing, as we speak, a live stream of him trying to do 007 GoldenEye with golden guns. And mind you, this is him doing this run with the enemies with golden guns. So he's trying to run through the entire game from the dam all the way down to the Aztec temple with all the enemies holding on to golden guns. And I think the last time we checked, he was on the bunker too. The second one where Natalia gets captured. Yeah, he's on that thus far. I can only imagine what sort of difficulty he's going to have once he reaches the statue. That's going to be nuts. And with that out of the way, folks, and unfortunately we do not have any games for Planet of the Games, but I got a feeling we will include them a part of Under the Radar for this week. So instead, now I think it's time for us to get out that harpsichord in 8-bit form to check out some very lavish and beautiful homes for another edition of the lifestyles of the digitally rich and famous. I never get tired of saying the intro like that. And the first house that we have up comes from the creator Vicky Sims 2. Nice name, by the way, with their house, Townhouses number 1. And this house that is split into 2 separate houses, my god, I don't know how in the world they're able to accomplish this one, but this 2-for-1 deal house includes 3 bedrooms and 1 bath, and even a laundry room with a terrace to go down into a little garden. And it's furnished and built in Eversdale Country at 25 Bluebird Way. And that last part we actually read, so yeah, this house definitely beautiful, and the fact that you get a 2-for-1 deal in one big house, I got a feeling will stop most fights with in-laws if you're living with them. Separate house for you, and when the kids grow up, they can live on the other side. Very convenient. But a little warning ahead of time, folks, you will have to build some form of driveway for this said house. So if you want, since this property is built on a 25 by 25 lot, you can always expand it on a bigger lot, put it in the center, and put cool driveways on it, and even expand upon this double house that is almost reminding me of Double Mint Gum for some strange reason. I can't get that commercial out of my head now thanks to this house, but still, cool house nonetheless. And the next house that we have up comes from SNL Live 2004. Live from New York is Saturday night, but it's Sunday, so what, Sunday Night Live? Will that work? Well, anyway, with their house, Cherish Haas. And this house, which is a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom house that actually includes a very beautiful lakeside view and even a lake to go along with it, is a very, very beautiful and wide, spacious house that you can live in. And not to mention, for you fishers out there, you can actually fish this lake out and even put some fish that you were able to find out in your town that you're currently living in this said lake to live, which is always a good thing too. And I think there was some reports, and Maestro said it when he was playing, that he was able to find a death fish in this said lake. Which is strange, because usually those things are extremely hard to find, so I got a feeling there's a little bit of magic inside of the lake of this house, and not to mention the fact that it comes with its own driveway and a whole bunch of scenic trees to go along with it. Definitely is a beautiful house for you and your kids to live in, because according to the Maestro, there's also a swing set out front. Now, this is definitely a hallmark beautiful like home that would be perfect if snow was around. Well, for those who has the season pass, you can actually do that. Oh yeah, since there's a lake in front of there, can't you actually go skiing on that too? Or ice skating? No, wait, ice skating. Skiing is when you go down the hill. My bad. I'm getting my winter sports confused. And besides those winter sports, folks, the next house that we have up comes from none other than Debbie D229 with her said house, Miss Brownie with a Touch of Blue. And I got a feeling anytime you say that name of that house, it has to be said just like that. Mrs. Brownie with a Touch of Blue. Because for some strange reason, it sounds like cooking ingredients from the Food Channel that I got a feeling one of the people who was in Celebrity Deathmatch would actually add into their cooking recipe. Now, I don't remember their names, but I do remember they fought against Emerald in Celebrity Deathmatch. Now, why in the world did I go immediately to Celebrity Deathmatch and cooking? Once again, it's because of Mrs. Brownie with a Touch of Blue. And it's the last time we're going to mention the name of this house, folks, because this house comes with 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, a laundry room, and even a dining room and kitchen with garage for this said house. And the fact that it's built on a 30 by 30 lot always means you have room for improvement. And I, for one, which I really do love this house besides the cool name. With all the room they have in the backyard, gives you enough room to build a pool or anything that you could possibly want from this said home. And unfurnished, I got a feeling it's probably going to cost you at least 6 figures. So be prepared to spend a little bit for lavish living such as thus. And the next house that we have up comes from the creator, Cyan? You know what, we'll go with Cyan, with their house, a California house. And this house, my God, I got a feeling this house was built during one of those Tex Avery cartoons of the House of the Future, because it looks absolutely beautiful and futuristic, because this house is modeled with 2 bedrooms, 1 bath, and I do believe a living space that looks like something from out of the Jetsons. Well, not quite, but if the Jetsons were based in the late 2000s, which according to the Maestro it was, but besides the whole, floating houses thing, this would be something the Jetsons would live in if it was really based on the 2000s. And if you guys really want to live in this house, a little bit of warning, it is on a 25 by 25 lot, so you have a little bit of room to play around with, but if you want to add anything else to it, just build it on a bigger lot and you're fine. And, since it already comes with a garage, for those who have the ambition pack for firefighters, make sure that you actually maneuver a couple of things around to build the fire truck station properly. Because with a 25 by 25 base and the fact that the fire station is really long, you're gonna really have to push back that garage just a little bit for it to fit in this said house. Or just build around it, or build on the side of it. According to the maestro, you can build on the side of it. All right. And the next house that we have up, besides building a fire truck house in a cool Californian-like home, comes from the creator, Senny Miller, or Senny Miller? You know what, we'll go with the second one, with their house, 52 Dove Street Raw Build. And this house is a house built off the original 52 Dove Street from The Sims. And the house, besides it looking a little bit cooler than the original 52 Dove Street, and I do believe adds 2 more rooms to this house if you're creative enough to build in it, and even a full-on garage that's sideways, which is new to me. Yeah, definitely a very beautiful house to live in, and always filled with room of improvement. And the fact that it also looks like one of those houses that's probably further up the street from where I live tells you that this house is definitely lavish and beautiful for all to live in. And a little bit of a heads up, you will have to spend a lot of money to live in this said house if it's fully furnished. Just a little bit of warning. But luckily for you, this house is not. And apparently, according to the maestro, we have one extra house to mention for this week's edition of the Lifestyles of the Digitally Rich and Famous, since it's the 1-year anniversary. And the house we have up for you folks is a beautiful pinkish-like home that comes from Fluheart33 with her house, El Paso Home. And I'm not kidding, folks. This house is a beautiful hot pink color. And I got a feeling the lead singer of Aerosmith would definitely appreciate this said house. And it comes with 3 bedrooms, 1 bath, a pool, and even a makeshift driveway to go along with this said house. And according to the maestro, he corrected me by saying 2-car garage for this said beautiful pink-like house. And I, for one, would definitely live in this house, and I don't care what anybody says about the color pink. It's definitely a cool-looking house to live in. And to make things even better, folks, the backyard, big enough for you to add some more things in the back, and even gives you enough chance to improve upon this said home as well. Now, for those who have the Supernatural pack, a little bit of a warning, you may want to put a security system up, and as a matter of fact, for all the houses that we mentioned, put a security system up and a fence, because you're definitely going to need it just in case zombies come a-knocking. And I'm not kidding, zombies will come knocking at your door, not to look at the house, but for your brains. So, definitely security system to put up around the house. We should have mentioned this the first week we started doing the Lifestyles of the Digitally Rich and Famous, but it's definitely something that we, will mention in the future for any houses we see that doesn't have a fence around the perimeter to prevent zombies from coming in. So, yeah, definitely get a fence and definitely get a security system, because you're going to need it, just in case of zombies. And if you guys want to check out any other cool homes that are currently being displayed on high display on a Lazy Susan on a website, you can go ahead and check it out on the Sims 3 page, only known as thesims3.com, and just head on over to the exchange page to check out a whole bunch of beautiful homes that'll make you have 8-bit caviar wishes and digital champagne dreams. Now, Maestro this week was kind enough to give me one of those champagne glasses that actually hold up to toast to you fans at home who's living in any of these houses, and filled it with root beer. Nice. Now, I'm not going to drink this now, so you hold it. There, thank you. And with that said, folks, I really do appreciate the fact of all of these cool homes. And we almost forgot to mention the house of the week is none other And Maestro's rolling his eyes because he know which house I'm gonna pick, and it's none other than Mrs. Brownie with a touch of blue. Now, the reason why we picked this house for this week, folks, is not only because of the cool design that they decided to go with, but the fact that they were able to build a beautiful big garage that can fit just about any car in it, along with some cool palm trees to give you a little home vacation feel. Yeah. And we might as well pick two houses, so the other one we're gonna pick is Cindy Mueller with her house of 52 Dove Street raw build. Definitely houses that I recommend you all live in if you're playing The Sims for the first time, or a veteran player out there who's looking for a house big enough to fit your family of well over 8. Yeah, there's some people out there who's crazy enough to live with 8 people, and if you want a prime example, my sister. Because I'm pretty sure she had like 8 people living in a house at once. Yeah, weird. But it worked. Because every single time she had all those people living over there and the cops were called, they would get invited to the party. Yeah, that's how influential she really was. Those were the days, folks. Those were the days. And well, folks, it's the bell once again, and that means it's just about that time for us to vamoose as always, and just in time too, 15 minutes before midnight. Yeah, we gotta clear out of here. And with that said, folks, if you guys miss anything for this special live anniversary edition of the show that I got a feeling is probably an hour long, you can go ahead and check it out again one more time, all the time, on our SoundCloud, Facebook, or even Tumblr pages, all named the same, only known as Music Village Radio under the hashtag A Work in Progress 23. And I find it ironic, immediately after my birthday that took place on the 23rd, we have an episode that's 23 that's 1 year older. Yeah, we're trying to piece these things together, but I still feel the irony, folks. I really do. And if you guys want to figure out what other crazy and zany things that we still got prepared for this month of frost known as AC December, like an ironic case of irony with an ironic twist like they would say on SpongeBob, you can go ahead and check it out on our Twitter/YouTube pages still named the same, only known as the Double O Agent 0012. And just as a heads up for you YouTube listeners out there, this show will be available as of tomorrow morning. Yeah, because it's going to take us a while for us to upload and actually transfer the file over. But for those who want to listen to it on SoundCloud, it will be uploaded immediately. Yeah, so head on over to SoundCloud to listen to it first, but we will upload it before Monday afternoon for YouTube. Just to let you know. And before we head out for the night, we would like to thank, as always, you the fans out there for listening into this special 1 year anniversary from Out of Nowhere edition of A Work in Progress. And seriously, guys, thank you for listening in to well over a year of my random rants and ideas that somehow managed to escape my brain onto this microphone, onto my computer, and onto the World Wide Web for the world to listen to. And I find it funny nobody uses World Wide Web anymore, just www. But hey, get with the times, they tell me. And we would also like to thank you, the independent artists out there, for delivering that musical goodness like you always do. And keep up the great work, guys. And even though I know none of you actually delivered music to the show just yet, we're still thanking you nonetheless, because your music really does help us come up with this show and other great shows that we've been doing for well over, 5 3/4 of a year. And Maestro told me to say that instead of 5 1/4, because it's actually 3/4, because we're almost at 6 years. Yeah, just a heads up. And finally, oh wait, I forgot. We would also like to thank our musical guest for tonight, most importantly of all, none other than Technoax, with his song Streetwalk Manifesto that was used during the intro and will be used again for the outro for this week's edition of A Work in Progress. And as always, Technoax, thank you for allowing us to bless these people out here with your musical goodness, and we can't wait to see what you got coming down the tubes next. And finally, last but not least, we would like to thank you, the independent gamers out there, for delivering all those sweet, sweet video game hits, clips, and definitely digital homes and high scores that we had a chance to mention during this week's show. And keep up the great work, guys, because for the foreseeable future, since we made it to 1 year, let's go for 2. So keep those homes a-coming, keep those high scores a-coming, and definitely keep those games coming like we keep telling you on every show we do, because your games is definitely something we mention on the show on a multitude of occasions. So to keep the shows alive, keep those games coming. I don't know how many times I gotta say it. Probably until I turn blue in the face, but I wouldn't even mind because we need your games. And with everybody thanked, you guys out there know we go out. I'm DJ Smokey, flanked by the maestro, currently drinking the root beer in that champagne glass that I gave him, saying, when there's smoke, there's fire. And we'll see you guys hopefully before Christmas for another magical edition of A Work in Progress. But until then, and just in case we don't see you before Christmas, Merry Christmas and good night, everybody.
Walk down the street, saying hello to the people I meet, and I'm killing my love underneath the sun, triggering down like the smoking gun. Yeah, I ain't got no plans, just a rusty voice and an empty gas can. My car's broken down a mile behind, and I've got my life set on rewind, baby. I ain't got no plans, just a rusty voice and an empty gas can. My car's broken down a mile behind, and I've got my life set on rewind, baby. Walk down the street, saying hello to the people I meet, and I'm killing my love underneath the sun, triggering